What's going on, guys? This movie's great according to John. John, take it away.
Guys, regardless of our opinions right now, if you're going to see this movie and you're going to decide how you feel, you need to come and see it in an actual theater to have it wash over you to really know your thoughts. And clearly, our thoughts are a bit divided, but before we get into this, just big thanks to Cinemark for having us out. You know us, we're always here, and there's a good reason why, because it was lovely to experience this on the big screen as it was meant to be seen. There was even a commercial before the movie illustrating that fact, and I was like, yeah, you know, I don't like seeing this on this tiny little box, so thanks to Cinemark. Yes, The Matrix Resurrections is the fourth film in the Matrix franchise, and everybody agrees it's great. Yeah, this is a very meta outing. It's definitely a different sort of beast from the original three. If you're coming in for something that looks like it grew directly out of those movies, there's going to be a lot for you to chew and swallow and perhaps not be so on board with.
Different equals good, John. Don't downplay it.
No, I don't think different equals good.
No, it does. Different equals good.
But yeah, I don't know. For my viewing of this movie, I mean, Greg, you know, you are the self-professed Matrix is your favorite movie of all time. I love The Matrix as well. Obviously, your fandom eclipses mine in terms of your knowledge and your, you know, vocality on it. But for my own viewing purposes, I dug this movie a good amount. I mean, I want to see it again, and from coming into the theater, I thought to myself, I'll probably have to watch this a couple times because every Matrix movie is dense. But just on first viewing, I had a good time, and I enjoyed the take they went with. It's one of those situations where I can very much understand a lot of the gripes I have heard up to this point before the screening and a lot of the gripes I've heard after. But for me, I got invested in just the return of Thomas Anderson and his story, where he is now. I enjoyed being in the new, you know, this version of the Matrix, Matrix 7.0 or 8.0, whichever version we're in now. As far as a return, I appreciated that it seemed akin and built on the original movies, but like it really had its own flavor to run with. It is dealing with a lot of the same ideas of choice and destiny and identity and whatnot from the original movies. That stuff, at least on this first viewing, is not so new. I liked some of the meta commentary they did and the love story at the center of it. I liked the new cast of characters. As a viewing experience for me, it was definitely engaging and enjoyable, and the thing I think we'll agree on the most is that while I found some of the action engaging, it's not anywhere near as well shot or assembled as in the previous films, and that might be a make it or break it for some folks. But Gregory, what did you think?
Hold on. What's up, guys?
How you doing?
No, dude. What's your name? Eduardo, it's a pleasure to meet you. All right, guys, you know I am a massive, massive fan of The Matrix. If you've been watching this channel, Matrix is my all-time favorite movie. Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, I would die on that hill as a defender of those. And I get obsessed with the lore, the mythology, the complete package, every single different theme those films dive into. Almost every year, I find something new to discover about the trilogy alone. I am a major Matrix enthusiast. I intentionally did not rewatch any of them this year because I knew this was coming out and I didn't want to have that like fresh feel, but I've seen them enough times to kind of know. And if you watch the trailer reactions for this, you know damn well that I love to break down everything that this movie is possibly going to be doing, and what, like, I was obsessed with it. When it was all said and done, here's my play-by-play experience. First 10 minutes, I'm a little worried right now. This is feeling like Terminator Genesis. They would recreate scenes from the first Matrix, but it felt like the rushed, watered-down version. At times, I would liken it to when you go to like Universal Studios and watch actors do Waterworld. Like, no disrespect to them, that's great for a theme park. Doesn't translate as well here on the big screen. About 20 to 30 minutes was, this is pretty cynical, but it's kind of entertaining. It's definitely amusing. Pace is a little off, a little cheesy, but it's amusing, still cynical. And then it just kept going pretty fast. And then it slowed down significantly. I found this out afterwards as we went with a group of like 8 people to when we watched this at this advanced screening. And apparently most of us dozed off for a little while, like all of us did, except for John. And then by the time it got to the finale, I was like, okay, there's some cool stuff in this finale, I suppose, some cool shots here or there. And I don't like this movie, and I don't care about any of this that happened, and I don't appreciate the vision of what this film was. I did make a decision halfway through this movie when I saw myself ready to fall asleep. I will rewatch this film because I'm going to try to understand what the deeper meaning is, if there is any. I really got the vibe that Lana Wachowski did not want to make this movie. Felt like she was talking at me and not talking through the characters. It was a film that was like had this sort of cynical approach towards IP. It was more meta than I expected. Like, I was kind of feeling like it would be a meta film, and it was exceptionally more meta than I anticipated it would be. It tries to become like an actual Matrix movie, but I'm already left with this feeling of, well, I feel like you really don't want to make this movie because you just spent like the first 30 minutes telling me how this is a terrible idea to be doing this movie. And then all the themes that it explores, I don't feel like it explored anything new. It explored a new topic with IP, but it didn't. But thematically, I'm like, the other Matrix films already did that over the course of a trilogy. You're jam-packing it into this like what I felt like was a mess of a film. Jessica Henwick, the only newcomer I enjoyed. Yahya Abdul-Mateen seemed like, okay, he's got a little bit of an interesting new Morpheus take, and then I thought it became nothing.
Also had a pretty hard time by Neil Patrick Harris.
Keanu Reeves is enjoyable. Carrie on Moss brings her A game. If there's one thing I'll say, is a good credit to this film. I actually, weirdly, as much as I love the Matrix trilogy, I've always thought the chemistry with Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss was a bit off. Now, I don't know about off, but I just wasn't that into it. I actually thought they had really great chemistry here, and I could feel the fact of like they're supposed to feel like they have a history with each other, but they don't understand it. Take that with the fact that these guys have known each other for decades. You could feel that in their performance. That resonates. But as much as I wasn't enjoying the story itself, because a lot of it was due to filmmaking, I don't like the script. I'm hating the editing of this movie. I think it's paced terribly. The one thing I was thinking was, all right, if you're getting all that wrong, at least have cool action. While there's like some cool shots to be had that are cool to look up at the big screen, all of us, except for John Perry. But wait, no, you're kind of this is one thing you're kind of on the same page as
the action is nowhere near as smooth or inventive or awe-inspiring as the original three movies.
I thought the action for the most part was pretty crappy. Like, I think there's like shots that are cool, but come on, man, you guys have seen the Matrix films, the hand-to-hand action. I couldn't even tell what the hell was going on in this movie. Like, the hand-to-hand was terrible. I have a pretty big keen eye when it comes to action. I'm not even like hypercritical of it, but it really surprised me. It surprised the hell out of me how I thought the style of the capturing of the action was so, for the most part, generic. I thought in like there's some scenes that you see in the trailer of like some bike action sequences. Like, there are certain really cool visual shots that they would do, but in terms of action sequences, like as totality, especially when it came to hand, I couldn't believe how messy it was. How I couldn't tell how they were so choppy, so edited, and there was nothing memorable or cool about the choreography there. Like, the choreography was so lackluster.
It kind of felt like the Matrix trilogy was Daredevil choreography, and then Matrix Resurrections was Iron Fist Season 1.
I mean, I'm glad you feel this way. I'm glad. I wish I had the feelings you had. Daw was like the odd man out in our group, and I was still there feeling like I wish I had these feelings, especially when I go on social media and I feel like, well, it seems like most people are actually really liking it. And for me, as someone who is a defender of the ones that people called shit, I thought like, okay, people might crap on this, but I know me. I'm probably going to like this. And then I was like, no, I just, as a Matrix film, I was disappointed. As just a film, I was disappointed. Ultimately, I was just kind of like disappointed, and I just progressively got more bored as it went. That really pains me. Right now, as it stands on my first viewing, I am pretty surprised by how much I was not digging this at all. And it really bums me out. Like, a lot. If anything, that's the feeling I have. I'm bummed. And I hope on a rewatch I like it more, and I'll let you guys know if I do.
But if you're interested at all, give it a shot for yourself, I guess I would say.
Yeah, man. I mean, if most people walk out feeling more like John along those lines, then cool. I really wish I felt that way.
Well, guys, like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts below if you saw The Matrix Resurrections. Whose team are you on? Divide us in the comments. Pit us against each other.
John, you're the biggest Rob Zombie fan I know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just me and a couple people. Like, you want to hear about what I like about Halloween 2?
Matrix Resurrection.
I would love to see Rob Zombie's Matrix. Are you kidding me?
People yelling at me about what's wrong with Warner Brothers. You can yell at me all you want. It's just how I feel. And, yeah. See you.